Hey, have you ever had this feeling that some people seem to have it all, wealth, status, the whole package, yet you can't help but sense a lingering loneliness hidden behind their smiles? It's like standing at the center of a grand party, surrounded by dazzling lights and a roaring crowd, but in your heart, it feels as if you're lost in a silent wilderness. Does an image come to your mind as I describe this? Today, I want to talk about a book, The Great Gatsby. Its protagonist, Jay Gatsby, is precisely such an enigmatic figure. He's charming, immensely wealthy, hosting one opulent party after another, as though the whole world is celebrating him. Yet, behind all this grandeur lies a heart chained to the past and consumed by longing. This book is a classic by F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's not just a story of love and ambition, it's also a mirror reflecting the entire jazz age, exposing the emptiness and disillusionment hidden beneath its glittering surface. Gatsby may be the most successful person, or perhaps the loneliest. His life, was it an unparalleled triumph or a futile, unfulfilled dream? I bet you're curious too, right? Keep listening, and together, let's lift the shimmering mask of dreams, wealth, and the soul. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Delusion. I'm Sunshine, here to share positive energy with you as we embrace each wonderful moment together. Today, we're diving into a timeless masterpiece, one that absolutely deserves your attention. It's The Great Gatsby, a novel that leaves an indelible mark on the pinnacle of American literature. The author is F. Scott Fitzgerald, a true master of 20th century American literature. Fitzgerald's life and works are almost a mirror image of the jazz age, a period marked by prosperity, extravagant lifestyles, and shifting values in America. Born into a humble family, Fitzgerald relied on his talent to rise to become a literary giant. His writing style is elegant and refined, yet piercing in its analysis of society and human nature. Through his words, he captures the fleeting brilliance of an entire era. This classic was published in 1925, during the height of the jazz age. If you're familiar with American history, you'd know this was a time of rapid economic growth, indulgent parties, and rampant desires, a society undergoing a profound shift from moral traditions to consumerism. People chased dreams but became ensnared by vanity and materialism. Fitzgerald understood the shadows behind the glittering facade better than anyone. He was, after all, one of the lost souls of his era, both reveling in the chaos and inevitably consumed by it. The story is set in two fictional areas on Long Island, West Egg and East Egg, representing two distinct social classes, new wealth and old money. The narrator, Nick Carraway, is an outsider who arrives full of curiosity about life on the East Coast. A modest and principled man, Nick soon finds himself swept into a tangled and absurd drama. At the heart of it is Jay Gatsby, perhaps the most enigmatic and alluring mysterious millionaire in literary history. Gatsby resides in a sprawling West Egg mansion, where grand weekend parties are large enough to accommodate the entirety of New York's elite. But beneath the glitter of these opulent soirees lies Gatsby's deeply painful secret, an unwavering obsession with Daisy, a woman he has loved for many years. Everything Gatsby does, becoming wealthy, throwing outrageous parties, is simply his attempt to rekindle his connection with Daisy. Daisy isn't an ordinary woman. She lives on the opposite shore in East Egg, a place more affluent, more sophisticated, but also more hypocritical. Her husband, Tom Buchanan, is the epitome of old money, wealthy, arrogant, and unapologetically selfish and crude. When Gatsby tries to win Daisy's affection with new money and grand romantic gestures, you begin to realize that this love story is destined to end in tragedy. But The Great Gatsby is much more than a tale of romance. Fitzgerald uses Gatsby as a lens to reveal the hollow core of the American dream. Gatsby's dreams are noble in themselves, but the path to achieving them is paved with lies, desire, and betrayal. As you watch Gatsby sink deeper, you can't help but feel the crushing helplessness of fighting against fate. It's a feeling that hits you straight in the heart. With only 9 chapters, the novel takes you on a roller coaster ride, from the building of dreams, to the pursuit of desires, to the inevitable backlash and ultimate despair. It's like an intense excavation of human nature, a mirror that forces you to confront the truth. Since its publication, this book has been hailed as a jewel in the crown of American literature. Especially from the mid-20th century onward, it has become required reading in literature courses worldwide. Numerous screen adaptations have been made, with one recent rendition starring Leonardo DiCaprio. Yet, the tension and atmosphere in the novel are best experienced through Fitzgerald's words on the page. So, do you want to understand what the American dream meant during that era? Or more precisely, do you want to explore why some dreams lead us to even greater disillusionment? If so, you simply cannot miss this book. It won't hand you easy answers, but it will compel you to ponder the distance between dreams and reality. Now let's dive into some particularly thought-provoking takeaways from The Great Gatsby. At first glance, this novel seems to be a story about the glittering jazz age, but when you peel back the layers, it reveals the bittersweet intersections of joy and sorrow in every individual's life. Even if you don't have time to pore over each page, you'll come away from this discussion with some valuable insights. Let's take a look together. First, the importance of facing the harshness of reality while chasing your dreams. Gatsby is a man utterly consumed by his idealized fantasies. Everything he does is in pursuit of a perfect, bygone era, building his mansion, hosting extravagant parties, even pretending to be someone of noble birth, all to win back Daisy. But reality ultimately crushes his illusions with devastating force. Dreaming isn't wrong, but the real question is whether the thing you're chasing is merely an empty illusion. In life, many of us engage in similar pursuits, exhausting our resources to craft an image of perfection for others' approval, only to find an aching emptiness within. Don't you think this is a heartbreakingly futile obsession? Second, let's talk about relationships. What struck me deeply is Gatsby's connection with his so-called guests. His grand mansion was filled with revelers night after night, but when his life turned tragic, all those people vanished without a trace. These relationships bear a resemblance to the transactional interactions we often see in real life. Sometimes people aren't there to keep you company, but to use the platform you provide to fulfill their needs. If you've ever experienced similar indifference, like discovering that so-called friends only appear when you're useful to them, this novel will surely resonate with you. Third, money can't buy respect or love. Gatsby's wealth is almost unreal in its magnitude, yet it couldn't win Daisy's loyalty or society's regard. Many believe that money can solve all problems, but this novel reminds us that wealth can never satisfy the needs of the soul. It prompts a crucial question: is the thing you're striving for every day truly capable of bringing you fulfillment? Next, let's address Gatsby's obsession with time, the fourth key takeaway. The past is an uncrossable chasm. Gatsby is fixated on recapturing what was, hoping that Daisy can forget everything and start fresh with him. He clings to an idealized version of the past, imagining that its sweetness can fully return to the present. But the past is already gone, it's a deep river of time. Haven't we all had moments like this, wishing we could turn back time? Yet an unwillingness to accept the passage of time only keeps us trapped. We must learn to let go of our past, don't you think? Fifth, let's talk about class. No matter how much wealth Gatsby amasses, he can never truly join the old money aristocracy that Daisy belongs to. Certain things can't be bought with material possessions. Even if you win the lottery, the invisible ceiling of class still exists. We don't necessarily need to break through that barrier, but we should at least recognize that it's not the sole determinant of happiness. Sixth, any facade of deceit will eventually collapse. Gatsby's wealth is built on a foundation of illicit deals and secrets. while it may seem dazzling for a time, such things can't last. Doesn't this remind you of the so-called success stories in life that are filled with shortcuts? They may glitter briefly, but their foundations are often unstable finally, and this moved me the most. Let's talk about misguided love. Gatsby's love for Daisy is wholehearted and relentless, but was it worth it? Daisy's selfishness and vanity made a mockery of Gatsby's devotion. It makes me wonder, have we ever held on to someone, knowing deep down they weren't right for us, yet refusing to let go of the fantasy? This doesn't just apply to romantic love. In life, any obsessive investment of our energy and heart in the wrong direction is bound to end in disappointment. So now, let's ask ourselves, are we pursuing an impossible dream? Should we re-examine those shallow relationships in our lives? Have we sacrificed our time for others while neglecting our own deeper needs? The Great Gatsby is a story about dreams, and the inevitable shattering of those dreams. But within those shards we glimpse pieces of ourselves. And maybe from them we can piece together new insights into life. Did you know that some scenes linger in your mind like spilled ink staining the ground, leaving an indelible mark on the world? I'm talking about a seemingly insignificant moment in The Great Gatsby, the scene where Daisy and Gatsby reunite at Nick's house for the first time. The rain is pouring down, everything wrapped in a tense and damp atmosphere. Gatsby is pacing back and forth, so nervous he can't even hold his teacup steady, yet he insists on telling Nick, "If it doesn't go right, just say so." Those few simple words, can you already feel the palpable sense of anxiety? Now think about it, Gatsby, who is usually so confident, charismatic, and dazzling, why does he suddenly seem so awkward and boyish in this critical moment? In this fleeting contrast of his image, you can sense the fragility of dreams after long years of waiting. Fitzgerald's writing is subtle here, but what's hidden beneath carries immense weight. When the rain stops and everything relaxes, Gatsby finally reveals a smile of time turned back at last. But do you know what that smile truly means? He isn't smiling at his own success. He's smiling because his dream hasn't shattered yet. And the most poignant part is, Gatsby himself might not even realize this. He thinks he wants Daisy, but what he's truly in love with is a filtered memory. He's layered the Daisy from 5 years ago with the idealized image he sculpted countless times in his fantasies study this point. You might think, isn't this just a romantic reunion? What's the big deal? But that's exactly the thing. Aren't we all like Gatsby, crafting bright and splendid dreams of our own? Yet when those dreams meet reality, what happens? Do they become beautiful and tangible, or does reality silently drain them of all hope and expectation? The brilliance of The Great Gatsby lies in how it never directly answers this question. Instead, through these details, it places a feather gently upon your heart, letting you quietly feel the weight of its presence. The Great Gatsby is a love letter to human longing and disillusionment. This book allows you to reflect on what you may have lost on the path of chasing dreams through its enchanting yet heart-wrenching story. If you've ever been shaken by the intensity and contradictions of emotions in works like Wuthering Heights or The Catcher in the Rye, you will surely become immersed in Gatsby's Gilded Era. It's not just about love. It's about how obsessions and hopes shape the trajectories of our lives. If you're currently struggling with your ideals or feeling lost in the gap between dreams and reality, then this book was written for you. It's best enjoyed on a quiet evening or a leisurely afternoon with a drink of your choice, letting Fitzgerald's words transport you to that dazzling yet decadent age, where you can experience the highs and lows of Gatsby's world. This book feels like an old friend filled with secrets, accompanying you as you savor the gains and losses of life. Perhaps after finishing it, you'll start to wonder, are my pursuits genuine? Or am I simply afraid of change? You may even think of a distant friend, sending them a message to let them know you care. You might also realize that while our lives are undoubtedly influenced by our environment and circumstances, These should not be reasons to constrain us. This book invites a profound self-dialogue and may spark a light in your reflections, even changing the way you perceive life. Alright, now that we've talked so much, perhaps you've already sensed that The Great Gatsby is not just a whirlwind of storytelling on paper, but also a mirror reflecting our lives. Don't you think? Gatsby's dreams, his loneliness, his persistence, and his regrets, although they take place in an era far removed from ours. If you think about it closely, don't they also reflect certain shadows of our own time? For instance, in pursuing your dreams, have you ever overlooked the real happiness around you just to chase after some distant green light? Or perhaps Gatsby's ending makes you begin to ponder the balance between dreams and reality. This book isn't just about one man. It connects with every one of us and raises an important question. To what extent are you willing to go for the dreams in your heart? And is it all really worth it? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to share them in the comments section. Maybe something you say will offer someone else listening to this podcast a fresh perspective. Finally, thank you for walking with me into Gatsby's world. I hope in your own life, you too can summon the courage to open your eyes and see the world clearly, while still holding on to the romance of chasing your dreams with closed eyes. See you next time.